Greg, I'm thinking if you guys can contribute to answering the question, what's going on with the state of the entertainment industry right now as a whole? How do you see it changing and where it is right now, where we're going?
Pass it down. Basically what's happening is that as far as distribution, distribution is what's changing and driving everything now. We're going now from a situation where we had a very familiar, solid way of distributing product to people to a new model. This is driving everything. And basically, the quick, short word would be the internet. Basically, it has redefined what the music business is. You are no longer going to see people doing like, the A&R people and people do the way they do it and sign somebody and whole model. That's why you've seen so many mom and pop labels go under, because they can't figure out a way to make it in the new model of distributing music. You don't necessarily make money now for selling CDs. Now, we in the film business thought for a while we were immune from this because bandwidth for delivery was always a problem with a movie. A movie is, it's picture and it's audio and it's 2 hours long. You might listen to a track on a CD, but no one watches a track off a DVD. You want to watch the whole movie. It's not coming from the way you thought it used to be. It used to be you make a movie, you go to the big screen, and then it goes to DVD. Everybody understood that model. And somewhere in between it'd be on TV, cable, whatever. Now, that changed because I can't find a Hollywood video. When can you? How many blockbusters are left? All right. So you can't. So even for me as a filmmaker, I made the majority of my money for a while making movies that went direct to DVD. I was doing all right, but that has changed because I don't even have the shelf space now to generate the kind of money it would take to make your money investment back off of a movie that goes straight to DVD. So you can't do that anymore. So now I had to change what I do now. My paradigm has changed. So what does this mean for people who are out there right now? Basically, the industry in a whole has become democratized. Democracy can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. Bad thing about it, anybody can pick up a camera and make a movie and call it a movie. That don't mean it is. It just means they can make a movie. Anybody can get on stage and YouTube themselves and call themselves a comedian. It don't mean they're good, but they can make a YouTube and put it up and put it on Funny or Die and call themselves a comedian. Anybody can call themselves an actress. Anybody can call themselves a writer. So that means that you got to do more to break through the clutter of being the artist that is good and committed to doing it. So now you just can't say, I'm going to write a little script and I'm going to put it on and I'm going to do this. You're going to have to figure out a way to make it, to do more than just what you have been doing before. Because you got to break out of the clutter of just right here so you can be seen. So that's the big thing, is that you got to figure out a way to make sure that you can shine a little bit more, because it's not everybody can. How many people here own high-def HD cameras? How many people have a HD camera? Okay, at least 6 or 7. Okay, HD cameras. That's a 2K image. You're making the same kind of image quality. That camera that you have is capable of making the same kind of image quality as the cameras that I wear when I go and make a film. Same quality. So what's going to separate what I do from what anybody else can do? I better have people in it, actors. I better have production value. I better have not a good script, but a great script, a hell of a director, and a great artist who's behind the camera. So all the things that you want to do, you got to raise your game up, because the internet has, again, democratized. So I would say if you want to see where the state of this business is going, it means that, and that's one of the reasons why it's not unusual that you saw major agencies, I think CA, William Morris, somebody combined, you're going to see more of that, because the talent are not the talent that, let's say 5 years ago, you can get them now 40 cents on the dollar, if not cheaper. Last year, the films that were nominated, 10 films that were nominated for Best Picture, most of those films have budgets of under $10 million. And that's going to keep getting lower. Okay? So there's going to be two types of films. At first it was three. We were making films for about $3 to $5 million. You have that $20 to $40 million picture. Then you have the big blockbuster, $100 million. It's going to change to where you're going to have basically two types of films: the big blockbusters and the smaller films. When I say smaller films, I'm meaning, basically $5 to $10 million or less. And that's the model that a lot of these distributors are using. So you need to be aware of that when you get ready to commence to doing anything. So that's basically
I'll share something with you. When you look at the industry as it is, if you really recognize what it is, the entertainment industry for our gross national product for the country, the United States, you can go to the U.S. Department of Commerce and just read it. It's always in the top 10. About 2 years ago, it was number 2. Did you know that? Number 2. The entertainment industry didn't get a bailout like GM and Goldman Sachs or any of these other companies. So you got to realize the value of it, because see, you're in Texas, New York and LA recognizes the value of it. Those are the largest cities in the contiguous United States. And guess what they do? What are they known for? They're not known for making cars. They don't have a bunch of cattle up there. They make movies, they do television, and those are the entertainment capitals. And it's for a reason, because there's a lot of money in it, and it's changing. See, Rupert Murdoch and Ted Turner and Bloomberg, those guys are billionaires. And they own these media companies, and it all went digital 2 years ago. So the digital space is the new pot of gold. Please pay attention to it. And if you don't take advantage of it, then it's your fault, because you are meeting the right people. There's good people here. And I've got something I'm going to tell in back into an answer I didn't complete for the lady up front, but I've got to help you understand. With television being digital, they've got sub-channels. Like if you're in Houston, they got Fox 26, right? Well, now that it's digital, there's a 26.1, 26.2, 26.3, 26.5, 26.10. They're programming that right now. That's why in approximately 5 years, and they estimate 5 to 7 years, there'll be over 2,000 channels that you can tune into. And one thing that Greg said that's important is, if you got HD, well, how many people have an iPhone? You got HD camera, okay? Those are HD cameras. There was a group of guys, 3 of them over at HCC. They shot a film with 3 iPhones. I was impressed. And you just got to realize, we as a community have done so much with so little for so long. Use that same theory. Put together your resources and take advantage of it. So I say that because your networks that are local, they're looking for content. I mean, I look at, be it Universal, they're smart. That's why they don't sell hamburgers. They just do movies. And I mean, it's easy to get you a cow, a grinder, and a grill, and you're in business. It's easy to do. But just when you look at the markup on a disc or a CD or a digital download, the money is unbelievable. So that new pot of gold is going to be certainly that digital space. And when you ask a lawyer about it, I don't know how many of you want a penny deal, but that used to be insulting. Well, these networks on your digital device are doing penny deals that's worth $1 million and more a year. Because what you do is every subscriber that's on Verizon's phone line, you get a penny of their revenue for providing that VCast content, and they're taking these to networks. And that's why I talked to a guy about a penny deal. He's like, a penny? Yeah, it's a little over $1 million a year. Okay, it got quiet. Because all they want are those little 3 and 5 minute YouTube type clips. And not only are they competing for that business, but so is Cricket, Sprint, AT&T. See, it's a new media. It's not only NBC, CBS, and ABC. You now have to take advantage of this device that everybody walks around with. And now, how many people in the room have a telephone? Everybody. Guess what? Some people with more than one. So please understand that that's the future of the entertainment industry. And in some countries, that's the future of currency and exchanges. Go over to India and try to give them some money and see if they'll take it. It used to be good. They think it's counterfeit. Go to the phone, go to the station, to the airport, get you a phone, put money on that. You get in the cab, use this to get your cab. You want a soft drink, you use this to get a soft drink. That digital space is a new pot of gold, and if you don't take advantage of it now, it's going to pass you by. So if you want to know the state of the industry, it's digital, it's priceless, and it's easy to get into. And that's why we upload and we touch it. You see these YouTube, wonder stories. You look at Louis C.K., he's a comedian, did his own 1 hour special, made $1 million in 30 days with downloads for $4.95.
Wow.
I'm just saying. It's an easy way to get into the business. And I'm not afraid to be in business with Fremantle, Family Feud, or Good Morning America, any of these other people. I love that space, but us trying to get started might want to take advantage of that. And as I said, there's one tail that I wanted to give you about the lawyers. The lawyers will accept talents on contingencies where you pay that lawyer 5% or 10% or whatever that lawyer's fees are. So also, I just wanted to tail that back the next time I touch the mic. But the digital space is your pot of gold. Please take advantage of it. It is a huge business opportunity for you to build, and it's very inexpensive.
Al, can you bring that conversation closer to home? Let's talk about Houston, Texas, and how we fit in the rest of the nation.
Sure. I think one of the first words when the panel started was copyright. This business, more than anything, is a business of ideas. And so your content, since the beginning of Hollywood till now, the saying has been content is king. So if you have your good ideas, protect those, get them made, and get them out there now digitally. So what's been going on, I get this question all the time, so I'll address it, is that why don't we have a lot of bigger movies being shot in our area anymore? I guess we've been getting pieces of features in the Houston area, but not entire feature films out of Hollywood. Recently, we've had a number of projects in theaters. Of course, the Tree of Life shot here, Terrence Malick's film that's nominated for Academy Award. We recently had, not too long ago, a movie called Puncture, which was a low-budget film. The directors were out of New York. But that film was entirely shot here. It starred Chris Evans, who played Captain America early last summer. So he was in this film called Puncture, which released in theaters last fall. And then another one that came out actually like the same weekend, was Jamie Foxx Presents Thunder Soul, which was a documentary about Prof. Conrad Johnson here, music teacher. Great documentary if you haven't seen it, Thunder Soul. So those were in theaters and those were shot here, but they are small pictures. What's been going on since the early 2000s is that in the at the turn of the century, 1999, 2000, this thing was born called tax incentives, or incentives for motion picture production. It started in Canada. Canada instituted incentives for Hollywood producers to make movies in Canada. When they did it up there in the late 99, early 2000s, producers were saving 30% of their budgets by making their movies in Canada. A lot of what our business used to be in Houston was made-for-TV movies, MOWs, movies of the week. And so, and that used to be popular for cable. We had to supply cable with TV movies. And so we had maybe 2 to 4 of those a year here in Houston, on top of 1 or 2 big feature films as well. Well, in the early 2000s, all these projects that have tight budgets started going to Canada, and places that were film centers outside of LA and New York, which was Atlanta, the Carolinas, Florida, Houston, Dallas, all these places lost most of their business. There used to be studios in North Carolina, those shut down after a while. I think they're back open now because in about 2005, state of Louisiana was the first one to institute a domestic tax incentive for producers. The movie Ray was the first project to go through that process. They proved it worked. And so Louisiana, as most of you probably know, is now a film center. They have so much film production in New Orleans, and we have been, I don't think I'm supposed to use the word lobbying. We've been aggressively asking our legislators or letting them know what we're losing to our neighboring state as far as hundreds of millions of dollars in production, and we need an incentive to compete with that. Well, we do have an incentive. What Texas is in a situation where we do not have a state income tax. As far as we know, nobody wants one, will never have one. The other thing is our legislators meet once every 2 years, not every year, so that slowed down the process in the beginning. So now we do have a state incentive, but it doesn't have enough teeth to bring the bigger projects here. Again, we're getting pieces of the features, but not the entire features. And so what we have seen because of digital technology has been a really flourishing independent film scene. We have filmmakers that are making projects for $500,000 and below. You can make a SAG modified low-budget film for $250,000 and put one name in it, and that will help you sell the film. We have some local filmmakers that have done that. And so it's a different game now. It's a different industry than it was in the mid-90s and for a long time before that. So, but because of technology, we're seeing more work, but lower budgets. And so we have quite a bit of reality television in our city. We have BBC here every week, MTV, Discovery Channel. We have the Little Couple that shoots here. We just had a show called Trick My What on the Country Music Channel. They just did a season here. So we had Animal Cops for a long time. We have a number of things, but so reality television, as someone mentioned, so reality television is taking off, and there's almost a show about anything you can imagine, reality television-wise. So, but there's a local filmmaker. I want to say this: what Greg was saying is that it's no longer good enough to make a film. To get it out there on DVD, you have to do these other things. There's a local filmmaker who made a feature-length documentary about competitive quilting. That's right, competitive quilting. So she made a documentary about competitive quilting. Anyway, it's a funny documentary, but what has made them successful, it's a husband and wife who made this documentary. They made it for about under $100,000. Well, everywhere they go, they sell DVDs on their own, they sell t-shirts, they sell buttons, they sell all these things that they need to sell, and they have come out way ahead for their budget. After they made this documentary about a very specific subject, they got approached by a quilting magazine who said, we want to buy your film and put it in our magazine for all our subscribers for that month. And they paid them a lot of money, and that put them over the top. So their film is successful, even though it's a low-budget film, but they made it for a niche audience, and they've taken around the country, and they are financially successful with that film, so they're going to be doing more projects. And so you have to think of those other things. They sell it directly from their website. They did not get a distributor. They didn't go that route. They're doing it on their own, and so that seems to be a new landscape for filmmakers yesterday as well. So. I always say for budding filmmakers, you need to start making films yesterday if that's what you want to do, because it's a craft. The more you do it, the better you get.